In 1492, a man stepped onto this beach, planted a flag, and claimed a world that was never his to take. History calls him a hero, but this is not his story. This is the story of the queen who watched him, the ruler they tried to erase, and the bloodstains history washed away. Her name was Anacaona, golden flower, poet, diplomat, warrior. For decades, she outsmarted empires, using wit instead of swords, until the day they forced her hand. They burned her villages, shattered her people's art, and rewrote her legend as a footnote. But tonight, we resurrect her truth. This is the story they didn't want you to hear, of a queen who laughed as they lit her pyre, and a rebellion that still echoes in these sands. From the ashes of betrayal to the protests of today, her spirit lives. This is Anacaona's war, and it's time you joined it. The wind carries whispers, but not everyone listens. Anacaona stood before her court, her golden necklaces heavy with the weight of her ancestors. She had seen the signs. The ocean waves spoke of change. The birds flew in restless circles. Even the shaman's sacred shells had fallen in a pattern of warning. Yet still, some did not believe. "They come in peace," one of her advisors said. Anacaona's eyes darkened. Peace? She had watched the strangers step onto these shores before, planting flags as if the land itself had spoken their names. She inhaled deeply, scanning the faces before her. The elders, the warriors, the artisans who wove history into fabric. How do you prepare a people for war when the enemy has not yet raised a sword? A storm was coming, and those who ignored it would drown. The shaman saw it first. Visions of pale demons, iron beasts. Anacaona smiled. Let them come. We'll greet them as guests, or ghosts. But the shamans shuddered. They speak of God, but bring hell. She fed them cassava and lies. We have no gold, she swore, as her warriors sharpened spears in the jungle's belly. The Spaniards smiled, but their hands strayed to swords, a dance of deception, where one misstep meant war. For every village burned, Anacaona's jaguars struck back. Iron armor melted, but treachery, that poison no blade could block. They raided under moonless skies until the Spaniards offered peace, a lie and a trap. They offered peace in exchange for her neck. As the rope tightened, she hissed, "You cannot hang a spirit." Her warriors watched and vowed, "This is not the end." They burned her body, but not her name. For 500 years, her ashes sailed the winds, planting seeds in soil they could never poison. In Santo Domingo, Mexico City, New York, her people remembered. Today, her people dance again, not in surrender, but revolt. The golden flower blooms. In every fist raised, they chant her name in streets, classrooms, courtrooms. A war fought not with spears, but stories, rewrote her legend as a footnote. But Anacaona did not die. She became the whisper in the waves, the fire in the mountains, the song in the voices of her descendants. Every rebellion, every fight for justice carries the same flame. You see it in the marches, the protests, the voices demanding to be heard. They tried to erase her, but she lives. She lives in every step that defies oppression, in every woman who refuses to be silenced, in every people who will not be conquered. Anacaona's war did not end in fire. It began there, and it still burns. This is her legacy, and it is now yours. But a legacy is not just history. It is a torch passed from one hand to another. If her story moved you, share it. Leave Anacaona in the comments. Let them see she is not forgotten. Subscribe, because there are more stories waiting to be told. They tried to silence her. Now we make sure the world hears her name.